for me, I lost my virginity late based off men's standards in terms of I lost it at 20. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the best podcast out there, Menisms, featuring Michael Scenario
and Murewa Ogunkoya.
How you doing, my brother?
Nice to see you another week.
Another week. You see it? See what you did there. But yeah, how you feeling, man?
Feeling ready to jump right in, man.
That's good, man. First off, thank you to every single person that's been watching, that's been sharing. I know there's a lot of controversy you all have probably seen from some clips, and I'm here to defend my friend. You know, I'm here to defend this man. We are being honest men. We are just expressing ourselves, but watch the whole clip, watch the whole episode to understand his perspective.
Yeah, watch everything before you tear my shirt, please.
And listen, and don't forget, it's also an audio podcast.
Yeah, all audio podcast platforms. Just jump right in. If you can't watch, you can always listen.
But we appreciate you guys. So yeah, we're going to jump into it. But before we even start, we want to actually go over some questions that we got. Because again, what we like is that everybody's been engaging with the podcast. Everybody's been actually commenting, giving suggestions, giving questions even to us. So we want to actually answer some of those questions.
Yeah.
So I'll let you go. Ask the first question.
Okay, so the first one says, do you feel women undergo sexual anxiety? Okay, so I imagine this is from our sexual anxiety topic.
Yeah.
The one about sexual performance anxiety.
I'll let you go.
Okay, I'll say what my answer is for this one is, so I actually have had these conversations with some of my female friends, right? Just to really understand if women actually go under depression, and they do, actually, from what I've heard, from people I've spoken to. And what they say is that there's this, it's also some kind of pressure for them, right, from society, where it's like, okay, fine, the man should be doing most of the work during sex, let's say, but there's also some kind of expectation from the woman as well. Like she's supposed to feel good to the guy. Yeah. So I guess there's that anxiety of what if she doesn't, even if he doesn't like it, she's going to start feeling like she's the reason why, right? It could be something else entirely. So they always get so anxious before they actually get right into the act.
So for me, it's like, I think they do, because I didn't want to answer it like fully, because in the end, since we're men, like we can't really
talk. Yeah,
but at the same time, like you said, talking to some of my friends, and even for me, like I actually like to, that's why I said I like to get to know women first. It's like, all right, let's be friends first. So it's like, if you have those conversations now, right, you're more comfortable when it's not time to have sex and all that, because we probably talked about it. We're comfortable with each other. You get what I'm saying? Because that anxiety, I think, builds up more because women sometimes they're not fully comfortable with the man yet. Like, you know how when you're attracted to somebody, like for us, for a lot of men, you don't need to be as comfortable with the woman to have sex. You get what I'm saying? Compared to a woman where she actually, for her to enjoy it as much as she wants to, she has to be comfortable. So I think that anxiety stems from that, but I feel like they do. But the more you make her comfortable, I think that's where it really reduces that she actually gets to be herself. So yeah, that's an interesting question. Good question. You guys are asking some good questions.
So I think I'll let you answer the second one. So the second one says, if you see other people while you're on a break from your partner, does that mean you don't love them or respect them? I think I saw this comment on YouTube.
The thing is, the way the person asks this question is like, does that mean you don't love them or you don't respect them? It's like you're making me to, like, it doesn't.
Putting me in a corner.
Exactly. It's like, okay, so I feel like it depends on what you define as a break. So it's like, is it a break where, look, I don't want to talk to you, you do what you want to do, I do what I want to do? Is it a break whereby, okay, we just are not talking like that, but we're not seeing other people? I feel like people don't address what a break actually is. They just say, okay, we're on a break, we don't need to talk. But like I said, I said last episode, men are selfish. So it's like, okay, I want to talk and do my own thing. You'll be saying, I can do what I like, but she can't. But really and truly, it's supposed to be equal in terms of, if I'm doing what I like, she can do what she likes. It's just like, can you handle it? So I feel like you need to actually have that conversation to know what a break is, so you know what is actually classified as disrespectful.
Yeah, I mean, so I think I fully agree with you. It's about knowing, like, define, like, make it clear. The clarity helps a lot in this situation, because if you don't know what a break is, then both of you are literally walking in with your own definition. So guy is walking away saying, okay, now I can see other babes, and I'm expecting that she won't. Babe is walking away saying, I can see other guys, and I'm expecting he won't, right? So, it ends up then seeming like you're disrespecting the person when you're actually seeing other people. Whereas that is supposed to be the arrangement in some cases, and you guys just never spoke about it, right? So, the communication is very definitely the key part of it, but also knowing really what a break is to the other person. Because if you then tell me that, if I'm dating someone and she tells me that, her own break is she can see other people, I could at that point then say, no, I don't think we need to go on a break. If that's what it is, right? But if you're thinking, okay, break is we just need to get ourselves. No one ever either says no or yes to it. You just jump right into it.
Because it's like, even what you just said now, I personally did not. I remember before I got in a relationship, like when the whole thing about breaks, you know how like it's weird. Single people have the most conversations about relationship stuff.
Yeah, it's wild.
It's actually, now that I really deep it, single people actually have the most conversations, and it's like, okay, you say, break is this, break is this. You don't know until you're put into the lion's den. Because I know how I used to talk before I got in a relationship. That's why I said I'm a bit more mellow now, because humility, like, I got humbled. Like, when that situation there, we need to go on a break. What? What do you mean a break? Then you start, the definitions you had just go out the window now and all that. But that's why I said, whoever asked that question, good question, but we had to answer it our way. So last one. Let me see. Most men are ashamed of saying they are virgins. This leads to shitty experiences when they have it, even when they are not ready. Why do you think so? Again, you cannot be asking. You're literally just generalizing. There's some people that their first time, perform like crazy. Like, Mr. Champion here,
Nah.
Floyd.
Well,
because like she said, it depends. Me, like I said, my own first time was quick as shit, like 2 minutes. Like, as a very 2 minutes, I can say with confidence, I'm a grown man now. But some people, like I said, 20. But I don't know. I don't think we're ashamed of saying it. I feel like personally, it's maybe the peer pressure that gets to you from a guy. So like, I know for me, I lost my virginity late based off men's standards, in terms of I lost it at 20. So before that, I moved to Nigeria at 17. Okay. So when I moved to Nigeria, everybody was like expecting this American boy and all that, because like, you're from Atlanta and all that. But I was like, yeah, like I'm chilled and all that. I'm laid back. I can talk to girls, no issue and all that. But I'm just not having sex because I don't want to. Like, I'm trying to wait at that time. And I know from there, that's where the peer pressure started, in terms of guys always saying, this guy, this age, you're a virgin at 17, 18. And I'm like, wait. 17 in my head, I'm like, wait, I'm older than a lot of y'all, because I was the oldest in my class. So it's like, I'm 17 going on 18. Everybody's 16 going on 17, 15 going on 16. And you guys are already talking about, I'm the virgin and all that. Hold on. Not for everybody, obviously some people. Then it's like, chill. Then you get to another level where you get to college now. In college, like for some people that don't know what college is, like depending on our viewers, it's like in the English education system, you go to high school, college, then university. So in college, I was 18 going on 19. So at that time, even then, people were like, yo, you're a virgin still? Like, yeah, I'm a virgin. Like my first girlfriend, even, she was even surprised I was a virgin, because I was 18, she's 16. So, and she was a virgin too. She's like, wait, you're a virgin? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, why are you a virgin? Because I'm 18. Now, I was not talking about to uni, where uni now, the age range is different, because you have your first years, second years, final years. So at that point, it's like, okay, I feel like I'm an adult now in my head. Obviously, I didn't plan for it, based off the story. Yeah. But at that age, I felt comfortable enough that, okay, I've made an adult decision at 20, like, this is what I want to do. So the peer pressure obviously will get to you a little bit in your head. Because even in my first year, before I lost it, everybody was shocked. Like, you're a virgin. But it's like, you really have to just know yourself, that it won't shame you. Because there's nothing wrong with being a virgin. Like, I know people my age, I'm 29 years old. I know people my age that are still virgins. And even me, I'm like, how? Makes no sense, but kudos to you.
Yeah, because, you basically, touched every point. And I'll just say that. So in summary, it's more like just try not to live your life because you're trying to get validity from everybody else. Because most guys who lose it, because I guess his main concern was that, you end up being anxious and then underperforming because you did it out of pressure, right? And you have no prior knowledge. You don't know how to go about what feelings to expect and stuff like that. So I think really, if you just be intentional about when your first time is going to be, because it now has to be at the time you believe you're ready. So even if you underperform, you don't necessarily feel like it doesn't affect you as a person. Like, underperformance is like, okay, you know what, I expected that is my first time. There's nothing wrong with that if you know, right? Yeah. But if you feel like, I've underperformed, and then that's causing anxiety, consequently on other times, then it's going to be a problem. So you have to literally just know when I'm decide, okay, you know what, yeah, this is when I'm ready. Even if I underperform, no problem, but I would learn from this, right? So just try not to live for validity for everybody else. I think that pretty much wraps it up. Yeah.
Great summary.
Yeah.
All right. So thank you for the questions. I think we're going to answer more, but let's get straight into the topic. All right. So we're going to jump into the topic of the day. I'm going to let you introduce it, my brother.
So today's topic is self-discovery.
Lovely.
Yeah.
What?
So I definitely think I'm going to enjoy this one.
So with self-discovery, there are obviously different parts to it. But I think the first question we can ask ourselves is, when did you feel like you found yourself? And that's the question. But obviously the little disclaimer I'll give is you're always discovering yourself. But there's a point in life or a certain age where you sort of identify your foundation of this is who I am. And that's where the process starts of continuously finding yourself. So obviously, first question, when do you feel like you found yourself?
Okay, so I think I should first define what finding myself is, right? So people kind of understand what my answer to the question is. So if I say I've found myself, what I define as that is I should be able to tell the things I like and don't like instantly. Like, I shouldn't have to wait for situations to tell me if I like and don't like something. I already know if I do or I don't, right? Ways I'm going to react to certain situations, I should already know those things. So I'll give you an example. You know how, like, if a guy hits a woman sometimes, he'll be like, oh, he's never done that before. He didn't think he would do such a thing. That's someone who doesn't know who he is. Like, I already know for a fact that no matter what happens in a situation like that, I would never, lay my hand on a woman, right? But I know that even if the situation presents itself, it's never possible, no matter what. But someone else that could be asked that question would be like, I don't think I can ever do that.
Have you heard that phrase, I don't know if I'll do it? You don't know if you do it until you're in that situation.
Yes, a lot. But I feel like, so because we're talking about self-discovery now, we're not saying that you've then experienced every single scenario there is to experience, right? But you have a handful, which I was going to then say that, self-discovery does have to do with time. You know how, unlike maturity, it doesn't really come with age. Self-discovery would normally come with the older you get, because time is what presents most of those scenarios for you. And like you said, we're still continuously discovering ourselves, right? So in fact, that term alone then means it's tied to time, right? Because it means no matter what age, you're still learning new things. So imagine, you definitely imagine that at 10, you would not discover half the things you would have learned at 33, right? So time does definitely play a factor. But it's more about really knowing the basics about yourself. Am I someone who likes school? Am I someone who doesn't like school? What kind of stuff do I like for passion? Am I a hardworking person? Am I lazy? Now, I'm pointing these particular attributes out because some people don't try to be honest with themselves. Even sometimes you've discovered it. Like, sometimes you realize that, okay, I'm actually someone who doesn't like to work more than 3 hours. We know these things sometimes, right? But are you really honest with yourself? Hardly ever. So you tell other people, oh, me, I'm actually very hardworking. I can adapt under pressure, but you can't. You know within yourself that you can't. That's that self-discovery point. So I think
I understand what you're saying, because I had two questions in what you said now. So the viewers will understand. Are you saying that with self-discovery now, it comes with age? That's the foundation. Self-discovery comes with age.
Yes, I believe so.
And situation.
Yes. So basically, more like the more circumstances you've got to experience, the more you start to discover yourself. So, but on an ideal situation, you only get to experience with time.
So even with what you said now, because there's some people now that can find themselves very early based off experience. I feel like that's one aspect within the experience.
Yes.
Because for me now, I found myself, I keep finding myself, but the way my life has planned out now, that I've lived in three continents in this many years. So I've been in different situations. There's different experiences I had growing up. Like little things, like you said, everybody's experience is different. So for example, me personally, I grew up where my parents were divorced when I was a kid. There's many people like that. So it's like that experience already starts off something because now you live with one parent, one this. I moved around a lot when I was a kid. So it's like, okay, those experiences from living in different environments started shaping me one way. You get what I'm saying? Then the experiences of life, like you say, like when we have accidents, when we have situations happen, like deaths early, all that, you start to really find yourself in a different way. But then the foundational points of finding myself, I feel, came as a teenager. Because, as a teenager now, that's where you start really being influenced by outside environments. Like, that's where the peer pressure start coming in. That's where, you're with kids where those kids can really make a decision in terms of who you are, what happens or not. So I know for me as a teenager, like, especially because I was in America now, where that's more of an open environment. Because in Nigeria, I say it's more of a closed environment in Nigeria because secondary school, once you're a teenager, you're in boarding school. You're in your parents' house where you're in your compound.
You're not actually experiencing life.
Like, how when you go to America now, when you go to America now, like, there's a certain freedom you have. There's no gates, there's no compound. So even as a teenager, I imagine that we're going to different neighborhoods. I'm meeting different kids. I'm starting to see now, like, especially back then, like, kids are starting to grow up quicker depending on that. So I started finding myself when I started learning to say no to some situations. Then the situations I said yes, that I'll see the repercussion, and it's like, this is not for me. But then as an adult now, I feel like the one time that everybody really finds themselves, that self-discovery, tell me if I'm wrong, is university.
And that's exactly why I said time. So in fact, I was just going to pin on that because, when you're saying people find themselves young, so by time, I don't necessarily mean you have to be old to have, like, discovered yourself, right? Time means, for example, there are some things at 10 you never experience at your youth. And one example is like marriage, for example, right? Even if you get married at young, no one's getting married at 16 as a guy, right? Yeah, so so regardless, you can never experience certain things until time passes by, right? But one thing I wanted to really point out is something you really said, and I think we should just hammer on it so people catch it on, is self-discovery is when you start to tell yourself you can say no. Now, let me tell you why I'm hammering on this. It's one thing to actually know that, okay, I'm not the kind of person who likes to go out on a Friday night. I don't like to go to the club, right? But I'm with a circle of friends who they're always moving to club every Friday. So it's like, how far you're coming as well. It's one thing to know you don't like to go to the club. To me, you haven't quite discovered yourself at that point. You start to discover yourself when you can actually tell them, guys, I'm not feeling like club is not my thing. I want day house. When you can now start to say no is when you have the self-discovery. Because for the longest, people can just always know about themselves. But you have to actually push forth on what you really don't like to others. So that way it's clear that you've decided. True. Okay, I'll give an example. If you don't eat tomatoes, right? And maybe in every burger they have tomatoes. Yeah,
said if you don't eat tomatoes.
So if you don't eat tomatoes, right? And on every burger, there's a slice of tomato in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Normally, people don't hesitate. You open it and take it out, right? Self-discovery should be just that easy, where you don't like something, nothing can actually cajole you into saying you have to like it. So at that point, you tell yourself, I don't like it, so I'm not going to have it.
But
that's what self-discovery
I feel like there's a part where you're not, because I get your point, but I feel like we're still, it's easy when you explain it, but I want to actually put in the reality factor, the realistic factor, like temptation now, for example. Because with what you're saying now, where it should be very easy to say yes or no, that aspect of temptation is that middle line.
Yes.
That's, again, like when you're not in the fire, basically, until you're there in the fire, that you're like, you really don't, it's a test of character to really say, okay, is this me? Is this me? That's why I was like coming to that point of uni now, is where we really get tested. Because for us now, that's school, no matter where you schooled, you're in your parents' house. Uni is that one time now where all those tests, like you said, of saying yes or no, get tested at university because you're by yourself now. So it's like, I know for me, like starting off in uni now, when I got there, the first test of self-discovery was the whole virginity thing. Like the question we asked, like, okay, you're a virgin. Are you going to start going crazy? Or are you going to start doing this? Okay, I have to start learning to say no. I started saying no at some point until the temptation one day really hit me in the face. I'm saying no. And them no's like, no, yes. Yes, no, yeah. And boom. Okay, just like that.
So I think So I'm sure I understand that correctly. So are you saying it's the same acts you used to say no to that you started getting shaky for?
No, I was saying the acts I always said no to, because mind
Yes.
you, that virgin, like just one aspect of virginity, because there's still other aspects in university you go to, but starting with that, with women and all that, I said no for 20 years. All of a sudden, one day I say yes. And that's just one aspect. And that's what I'm saying about life, how life is funny, because for years you can always be saying no to something until that temptation's really putting your face in a certain way.
I think I need to ask you this then, because would you really say it's the temptation? I think we should start with, why were you saying no?
What do you mean? For the situation?
Yes. So think about it. Now, you might want to say it was your decision, but if you actually sit down to think about it, it was society telling you this is not the right time, you're meant to wait.
No. So, okay, so let's leave. Okay, so in terms of with women, that's one aspect. Let me give you an example now. In uni now, for example, where what I used to do, like I used to play sports and then I was also throwing parties. So I was around a lot of different faces. So there also came times where like I got offered to do some legal shit. Like, do you want to help me do this, help me do that, and all that? And it's sometimes
So
I know
like push stuff. You mean
everything.
Okay.
We don't discuss. We don't.
Yes. Push. All I said was push.
No comment. But to do stuff. And the thing is, some of these people were my guys. You get what I'm saying? Because they always they supported me. They showed me love. And that temptation is there because as a uni student, especially, like I'm not making money like that. You get what I'm saying? Because I also played sports, so I can't work. I'm an international student. I can't work. Okay, your parents can send you money, but I still have bills to pay and all that. So I have to do other hustles. So it's like, okay, that temptation's there saying, do I do this that nobody's going to know? Like, because a lot of times I could have done stuff nobody would ever know. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? And it's like that temptation's now there that is like, it's in my face. What do I do? I've been saying no this whole time for years because, yes, there was that societal pressure of you shouldn't do this because this can happen, I know. Yeah. But then those questions now started turning to of you yourself. Do I really want to do this and open that Pandora's box? Because like I said, all the times I said no, even some days I'll ask myself, why did I say no? And I'll be like, is it because of my grandma? Is it because of my mom?
Exactly.
Is it because of me?
Exactly.
Because I won't lie, the first few years, it was because, my grandma will kill me. My mom will kill me. By the time I started getting to my final year and all that, I don't even care what my grandma and mom say. Not even like I don't care. It's always there. But it's like, I'm an adult now. So, okay, do I really want to do this? And it got harder to say no. You're right. Because it was very easy, like, no. The next thing you know, it's like, wait, if I do this, I'm going to get about 3 Gs. I'm going to get about 3 Gs. Nobody will know. Okay, this is my cut. Blah, blah, boom, boom, boom. But I'm like, at the same time, for me, do I want to even go down that line? And it's hard, even to, that's why I said it's an ongoing battle.
Yeah.
Because you can say, I can say no, until that situation one day hits you. So really, it's like my uncle said one quote to me one day. He's like, don't ever say you can't do something. Yeah. Just say it's by grace. You can not be doing it right now. Because I didn't even understand what he meant. It's like, for example, you know how some men, for example, when they say, I'll never cheat.
Yeah. No, I agree.
I'll never cheat. It's not to that situation. It's like, bro, I used to say, like, when I have not that I'll cheat and all that, but what I'm saying is like the way the temptation hits you when you actually are in that situation, when you have a girl,
you start to be like,
and you get comfortable.
And actually, that's why you hear people say things like, was it I don't know who I am again?
Yeah. Because again, for years you always said do. Like, bro, I remember there was one situation, like this is what I said with self-discovery is mad. I'm not perfect and all that. I'm still, like, I even tell people, I just found myself last year. Again, this is somebody, and this is coming from somebody that...
funny enough, I'll say the same. So I'll share my story when
everybody, so it's good you even say that, like, COVID, everybody sort of found themselves, but in a different way. Yeah. So it's like, before COVID, I knew who I was in terms of, okay, I'm the guy that throws the parties, I do this stuff. That's my identity. But even that identity, I started losing myself. Then before that, it was like, okay, this is a guy in London, this is a Yankee guy in London that's an athlete at those parties. So I've always had one identity about myself. Then when COVID just took that away, that is like, I have to do a whole bunch of self-discovery. Like, bro, when I said I was in lockdown, like lockdown now, I was stuck in London for 9 months. It was supposed to be a 1-month trip. Stuck for 9 months in a village in Nottingham. So it's like every day I'm just there in a room by myself with my ex at the time and her family. But then at one point they all had to go to work. So I'm in the house by myself Monday to Friday, every single day. I'm just there trying to figure out, okay, with everything gone now, who are you really? And I couldn't answer that question for a long... Bro, I couldn't answer that question for a long time because it's like some people don't know themselves until their what's the word? Their clothes are taken off. Is an expression like if all your identity, okay, you are the manager of this, you are this. If that is removed, that,
do you still
who
have
are
an
you?
identity?
Do you know who you are? And I was like, yo, I actually didn't I forgot, because again, when I was younger, I figured out who I was, but I lost it. So it's like lockdown made me find that person again of who is Michael Shonari again. That's why even I tell people I started TikToks because obviously I was unemployed, can't do anything. So it's like, okay, wait. I like old Nigerian music in terms of my personality. I like old Nigerian music because I grew up there. So it's like I like dancing. Let me start off with this. And even doing that is like, I remember when I started doing TikTok, I was so ashamed at first because obviously I'm the guy that does parties now. Like, yo, I have an identity.
They can't see you.
The way women see me and dudes see me and all that. But the next thing I'm dancing, and all that. And it's like, gee, but it's like, I felt so comfortable with myself. Like, this is me. Like, in the end, I'll see you on streets and you'll be like, what's up? Like, I'm good. I'm comfortable in that. Yeah. So it's like, started finding myself in that way, helped me open more doors. Like, okay, what do you actually like? I like this. Okay, the things you used to like, did you really like it, or was it, like you said, societal pressure? Because again, even in Lagos, there's a lot of things I started doing that were societal pressures. And then it's like, even coming back to Nigeria, once I started finding myself coming back, there's a lot of stuff when I came back that I stopped doing. And I was shocked because I was like, I used to love this thing. I don't love it anymore because it's not really who I was.
You know, this thing you just said about loving something and not loving it anymore is a very, very good part of this topic, because another thing about self-discovery is you actually take some things off the list you think you've discovered. So for example, like you just said, you know, maybe what could happen is, you know, you think you're an alcohol person. Like, you think that's your thing. Let me, in fact, this is my personal story. Like, so I'm like, of course, when I'm out, I always want some alcohol, right?
Yeah.
Alcohol is something I'm probably having a lot. So it's not, it's my thing. This was like, maybe in my early 20s. Oh yeah, alcohol always, in fact, you know, I'll go out to the party like, he's the only one that doesn't mix, always drinking straight, always drinking. I'm like, okay, maybe alcohol is my thing. Mm-hmm. Then I get my own apartment at 26. And I'm like, okay, I mean, how can I be in my house? I don't have alcohol, right? Mm-hmm. I need to have the basics. If it's not Jack Daniels or some Hennessy, just the basic stuff, right? Bro, I kid you not. I'm an alcohol guy. Mm-hmm. Hennessy from last year. Maybe it's only gone like a quarter through. Bro, I haven't even opened the Jack Daniels. And then at that point, I'm like,
I get where you're going.
I thought I had discovered that I was an alcohol guy. I'm now rediscovering I am not an alcohol guy. Like, I might just do alcohol when I'm out. But in my own comfort, I want to drink water. I want to drink whatever else, right? So maybe I also do alcohol once in a very long while, but clearly at that point, I now discovered it wasn't my thing, but that was something I thought I had discovered, right? So apart from just learning new stuff, self-discovery has so much to do with learning the old stuff and unlearning, bruh.
I have a question for you with that, what you just said.
All right.
Do you feel then money plays a big aspect in self-discovery?
That's a very good angle we're about to get into. Now, money is supposed to, but here's the problem. Money streamlines, and I'll talk based on the man's perspective, money streamlines your vision of self-discovery, right? Because half the time, a lot of people go through being broke shamed, right? So you end up finding out that you can't achieve this thing you want to achieve because there's no money. You can't meet this person you want to meet because there's no money. You can't move to this next level because there's no money. You can't go to that institution because there's no money. In fact, some jobs you can't even get because there's no money, right? Everything's just about money, 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 money. So naturally, every person growing up just all of a sudden puts money in their self-discovery journey. Like, once I make it like this, I'll know what my attitude is like. For now, this is me still being poor. Because it could be that, like you said, you know, your circumstances kind of like shape you into what you are. So people would experience, and that's why I talked about the unlearning now. People would experience being humble when they don't have money. They're just, you know, anywhere they go.
When that money now comes
once the
in.
money, they don't even pick your calls. They don't reply your text messages, you know. And it's funny because the guy who has now made money will tell you, Omo, see, then I dey shy that year now. Now this is the new me. Me now, any babe where I see now, I go, what?
But that was never you.
You don't even get it. Like, that's not even him discovering himself. That's him just telling us or telling whoever that now money has redefined him. But he hasn't even discovered himself. To him, he has.
But
because,
he really hasn't.
Because now he's a new person now. So he has discovered who this new person is because it's ideal for him. But one thing about self-discovery is that people don't seem to realize that self-discovery is more both the good and the bad.
So can I ask you another question?
Yeah.
Because with that being said, you're very right in what you said. Because I feel in Nigeria, especially, a lot of people don't find themselves till late.
Till very late.
Because
actually.
there's also a sense of freedom you need to find yourself. So like I said, coming back to the America aspect where in America we're more free. As much as my mom is a Nigerian mom, we're in an American society in Atlanta where my school's a public school and all that. You know, there's not the Nigerian culture or these rules or you can't say this, can't say this. They even teach kids to be free. Sometimes that's why it's too free.
Yeah,
you know, I mean,
but free
but
nonetheless.
There's still a self-discovery. That's why there's so many personalities. You get what I'm saying? Compared to here, where it's a certain one-way system in Nigeria. When you're in primary school, it's like, yes, ma, this, ma. No, you can't do this. You'll be in trouble. Boom. Secondary school, rules. Fear. There's a certain fear put in students too. If you get in trouble, flog, this. You're in gated compounds when you go to boarding school. Like, I was there. Like, I remember when I first came to boarding school in Nigeria at 17. Mind you, I've not been here in over 10 years. Like, last time I visited Nigeria, I was 10. All of a sudden, you put me in a boarding school where lights go off by 8. I'm in a gated compound. My windows have barriers and all that. And then I can't do certain things anymore. I can't talk the way I want to talk. How do you expect Nigerian kids to find themselves when you're putting them in these conditions? Then the Nigerian mentality of some parents, because I don't like to say all, some parents where kids can't express themselves, so there's no self-discovery. So that's why I always tell people, I feel like a lot of us find ourselves in our late 20s, whereas like you just said, for some of these people, because they're just finally getting their freedom, and then money now comes on top, they're thinking, this is me, when you never even got a chance to really experience it.
And I think this is something we need to all Lagos men, Nigerian men generally. When your money has finally landed, that's not the you've been expecting, right? Because let me tell you what it is. So a lot of people, and it ends up like projecting into disrespect and seeing people as less because you now have more money. The thing about it is, like I said earlier, people think self-discovery is more it must be positive. Oh, I used to do this, but now that I'm in a better place, this is the actual me, right? I'll give an example. Say I used to be a lazy person, right? But now I'm a full athlete, and being an athlete now does my body really good. I'm now saying, oh, that's the new me. Now, me doing that was probably just because I wanted a fine body, but not because athleticism was actually my thing, right? But because it's a good side and it's a positive now, I'm saying that, okay, that's the new me. I love sports. Meanwhile, the reason behind it is I just like a good body. Once I get that good body, the sports stop interesting me, right? Similarly to how guys see making money. You make money, you now think that's the new you. Then you not even get, and this is where it gets funny. Where that money you've made and you think you've landed can't get you to some kind of tables that's good manners, good, stuff like that.
No, man, it's just the way you carry. There's a certain way, because you know how some people have money now.
Yes.
But they still can't carry themselves.
There's some things they can't do, some things they can't access because no matter how much money, it's just not money. Money is not the problem, right? And the reason why guys always attach money acquisition to self-discovery is that, like you said, you need some kind of liberty to start to discover yourself, some kind of freedom. Maybe you started living by yourself and blah, blah, blah. Now, there's this pressure that's on, you must be successful. You must be successful. So, for every Nigerian kid growing up, now, it doesn't happen, sorry, for almost every Nigerian kid growing up, it feels like that success is a revenge to your parents. Like, I know if you fuck up. Like, there's no way. I have to be rich as well so that I can show this man that I don't need him. So I can, stuff like that. And because it's a revenge journey, they always feel like that's the goal. Like, and then you go know me. That's when my real face will show, right? And it's funny. And it's funny because when they now get to that point, they become less respectful. Meanwhile, okay, I'll give an example. Let's say you had some aunties, uncles growing up that you used to meet, and they're like, he's such a gentle boy, such a respectful. Then you make your money, you become dear, and daddy, I don't get you, can't talk to me anymore. If he tells you to go, I'll go out of your house. I have my own house. Now, the auntie, the uncle, who would see you displaying that attitude, would be like, but this guy was a gentle, soft. Why is he like this? You that you're saying that you discovered yourself now that you have money, you've now unlearned some things that were your actual values. Say you were a nice person, you were this person. So someone who actually has full.
So that means they weren't. To me, sorry, but to me that means they weren't really then.
That's what I'm saying.
Certain
So someone
core values always stay with you. In terms
yes,
of, that's something. It's so annoying.
So that's the thing. No,
says this.
Actually, I might nip something in the bud and correct that real quick. So it always stays in you, but it's easy to unlearn it. I'll give you an example. This scenario I was painting now, he's now rude, he's now whatever, he talks back and all that stuff, right? Before, he would never. He's a gentle guy, soft-hearted. Now, someone who has full self-discovery always knows that the money is changing them, right? So, I've started making money, but there's some key attributes that should never leave me. I'm not beginning to see them anymore. Someone who has full self-discovery will be like, hold on. Even me, the way I talk back to that person, that's not me, right? However, if you haven't fully discovered yourself, you'll be like, no, it was that time I did have money, now that time I did polite. Now I talk to anybody the way I want, right? Those are people who don't even know that that politeness, that humility was actually a part of them. Like, that is who you are. Mm-hmm. Now, this is what I was talking. I tweeted something recently and I said, I'm a lover boy through and through. No matter how much I want to try and change it, like it will just always be there, right? You know how sometimes society will want to push you to being a bad boy because that's what everybody wants now. You know, all the good boy you've been doing, they've been breaking your heart, they've been doing this. You now think, okay, you know what? Now, this time I'm not doing it again. I'm not a bad boy. I don't even care anything anymore. But deep inside, we're not talking about what you tell people now. Deep inside you know, who am I kidding, man? I'm a soft guy at heart. That's someone who has full self-discovery, right? So even if you have those circumstances changing you, like you said, you have to go through some things to you discover yourself in some aspects. If these circumstances change some of those core things that are in you, if you don't even know that you're changing based on your circumstance, then you haven't even discovered yourself. It's a very key thing to know.
So then a lot of people do. So we at least get to those not final points, but I just want to make sure I understand certain points when you say these things. So finally, if you don't know yourself fully before you reach a certain point in life, let me not even say that. When you know yourself fully, no matter where you get to in any aspects of life,
there are certain things,
certain core values don't change.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's why, because that's why I was getting to that point. Because I was like, you are so right. In that. That's even where I wanted to.
It's really important, and that's why you find that there's some people who make the millions, all the millions they make, but they're still themselves without the millions. Like if you looked at them 30 years ago, it's still the same body of personality you would see.
And that's why I tell a lot of my boys now, because even for us now that we're growing, like I know the last 10 years, I know how things have changed with myself, my friends, people around me and all. And for me personally, I tell people like there's a certain way I found myself fully because I've lived both sides of life. There's times where we had money, there's times we didn't have money. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? So even the times, I tell people I had more fun in America because there was a sense of freedom. Like I said, we didn't have everything we have in Nigeria. And that's the irony of things. I tell people like my life changed when I came to Nigeria in terms of my life got better.
Yeah.
You know how some people, you leave Nigeria so your life gets better. I left America so my life gets better in Nigeria. Right. So it was a weird humility it brought me because you know how even though your life gets better here, you're still surrounded by so much. Yeah. We know where we are. Yeah. You're surrounded by so much. And even that sense of reality is like, wait, this is really how everything is. So it's like, I know when I started seeing certain things, like I remember like coming to Nigeria, I had family that were in government, family that were in certain, I had cousins that were this. So it's like, even as I was enjoying the privileges of life here, there was something in me that never changed, which is, like I said, that humility of, like, I know who I am. I know where I come from, no matter where I am. Like, I used to tell people now, like, going clubbing now, especially, like, now that I'm in entertainment now, I've not changed in what I've done because at 19, 18 years old, I used to go clubbing with all the celebrities. I used to go escort my cousins. Like, there were certain trips I was doing with my family and friends and all that is, like, I still am going to do it now. Like, I still do it now. You get what I'm saying? But there's a way I carry myself that I know myself because even at that age I've seen it. But even before I got to that point, I know what low points there were and all that it can't change. But in Nigeria, like I said, most people don't get to experience those things. Some people do, in terms of, we know how hard. This is why I said it also, like, it made me understand Nigeria a bit more, in terms of the way some people grow up here, or more like some people come from nothing.
Yeah.
And then the situations change. They family come from nothing. Get what I'm saying? So it can either go one of the two ways. Where coming from nothing, they'll be like, I have to make it that revenge. And some people, it builds that humility, like, we know where we come from and all that. Because I never understood. I didn't realize, like, you get what I'm saying? Even like coming to this environment, I didn't realize, because I always wondered, like, it's weird how people find themselves in such different aspects of time. But when people start to finally tell their stories, you'd be like, okay.
So I think there's one point we need to get into in this particular topic, and has to do with, do you think there's like I believe, anyways, that there are certain stages in life that you have to be very consciously ready to discover yourself. Now, let me explain what I mean by that, right? So I believe that there are certain stages in life where, based on my own personal experience, if I had to do life again, I would be very much more conscious of discovering myself in that particular stage.
But you can't think like that.
In that particular, let me tell you. I'll give you an example.
You can't think like
that. I'll give you an example. So, let's say high school, right? In fact, no. Let's say high school, right? Now, let me tell you why I'm saying high school. High school is one of the first times you have to make a decision for yourself, but not really. And what I mean by that is this. Oh, what do you want to do? Are you going to be a science student? Are you going to be a social sciences student? Are you going to be an art student? Now, you're going to give an answer. And when you give that answer, you're telling yourself that is what you wanted. And yes, I like math, I like this, so I want to be science student. Whereas, if you were left alone to actually look through, think about who you really are and what you really like, you may have gone for arts. But at that point, you're not even, there's something else that's just driving your decisions, but you don't think so. You think it's yourself, right? Now, I feel if I had to do life again, I would go back to that stage, for example, and I would say to my parents that I know as much as they want me to do this is what I genuinely enjoy doing, and I will be happy doing this, right? Reason I'm saying this is this. I mean, we have some viewers that are watching now that would not have experienced certain things that we may have already gone through, right? Or that their peers have already gone through. The point is, like, always be sure to watch people or even like listen to what we have to say, where we're saying that, okay, when you start working in a structured environment, use that opportunity to really discover yourself. Like, you're daily discovering yourself everywhere else, but concentrate on that phase of life. Okay, now you have a 9 to 5. Concentrate on, are you really someone who likes 9 to 5? Is this really what you like? Okay, are you someone who likes structured emails? Do you like structure? Or are you just on the whim? You're like, okay, I have this idea, let's get it going. If you don't consciously do that, you're going to wait for opportunities to have to teach you. That's what I was getting at, right? So you're going to want to wait for when you get fired to be like, who am I kidding? I didn't even like that in the first place. Right?
So you're basically saying that do not wait for the opportunity to find yourself.
Yeah, sometimes
actually try and go out for opportunities.
Yeah, be more
to find yourself.
Yeah, and
so,
be more conscious.
So it's more of going. So that means, so basically, in summary of that is like basically going out your comfort zone. Because no matter where we are, because I've noticed something about that. What you just said, to summarize what you just said, is like, have you noticed we get more the talks of going out our comfort zone more when we're adults than when we're kids?
Yeah. Because
as kids, we already have that bravery in us to try everything.
Yeah.
But like you said, starting from high school, we're already trying everything. But then there's a point because some viewers that didn't go to high school in Nigeria now, you have to actually pick your subjects in terms of your art students, science students.
Social sciences.
Exactly. So it's like there's already a decision, like you said, like you can make, but you can't make. But then from there, you have to now create, from that decision there, you have to start creating the opportunities for yourself, because in the end, you are the one that actually gets to create the opportunity in terms of what uni you go to based off your grades and all that. Then you get from uni now, you get to decide, okay, if I pick this subject now, this is the career I'm going to go into. Yeah. But then, like you said, don't wait for those opportunities. Actually tackle them. Like you said, when you're in university or something now, go for opportunities to try new things. Like one of the things I tell people is my university experience was the greatest 4 years of my life, because I was like, I don't give a fuck about anything. I am doing everything I said I wanted, and I did. I was an athlete in uni, in terms of like one of the best ones, because I actually tried it, and that's helped me find myself. I was president of the society. I tried those things. I joined different societies. I went to different parties. I mixed with different groups. I had friends from all over, because I decided, you know what, I do not want to leave this place with regret. And that helped me find myself, because like you said, because I kept trying out opportunities, I said, I like this, I don't like this. Because I was put in this situation, I don't like this situation. I like this situation more and more. You get what I'm saying? So that way, when I was put in the real world, like, I already knew I couldn't do 9 to 5. Like, now I can, in terms of if it's in my own.
If it's in your
but I knew earlier I couldn't, because I was such a creative, and I tried it. Like, I got an internship with IBM at one point. And that was even the decision. You see, your point was actually very valid. Good point. Chop and go. So it's like, I remember all my friends were going for these multinational companies, and I was like, I get good grades like them, and I do. You know what? Let me try it out, because the peer pressure on me was like, I ain't doing that shit. I'm playing sports. But I was like, you know what? Let me try it out. I at least have grades enough to do it. I got IBM, and even surprised my own mother. I remember the day I said, "Mom, I got to IBM." Yeah. I was like, okay, and I did it. From that experience, I learned so much in terms of like myself, and one, I'm not doing 9 to 5 with multinationals like that again, unless there's a certain rule, because I stood out like a sore thumb, because again, I'm a young black man. There were other black men. It wasn't even about racism. It's just my personality stood out. Every young intern liked me. We used to even, in fact, the lunch room was quiet before I got there. Once I got there, you knew the intern table, who was there and all that. Everybody starts hanging out after. So I was like, okay, that energy and personality I have is not for the office, because there's a structure they have. I don't like the structure. They pay good, though.
Yeah, but is
it worth it? So it's like, nah, it ain't for me. So that's why I said you're right when you say.
And I fully agree. So I will wrap up now with saying that one very key point, and this is targeted at the young Nigerian parents now. You're raising your kids. Give them opportunities to discover themselves. Because thing is, you know, you're discovering yourself, or they're discovering themselves. You end up knowing who you're really raising, right? Because Nigerian parents like to live in this oblivious, you know, universe they've created for themselves.
Say that word again. Say it again.
Oblivious. Thank you. Oblivious. Whereas it's just like, you know what? I know my son now. He can never. But do you really? You know. Do you really? So, you know, I think for the young parents now raising their toddlers, it's one thing, let them discover themselves. So that way, when they're giving you honesty, you know that even if, daddy, I'm a drug dealer, it's best to know. Because let me tell you, Nigerian parents, they will come later and be like, you should have told me.
Can I just say
They would always say, well, you should have said, you're my son, I would have said, you know, you're my daughter, I would have said. And the thing is, because of that oblivious state they are in, you as the child, you're giving them what they need to see.
I beg of you.
That's my own personal advice.
We're going to round up now, because that was actually a great summary. But I just want to share one quick story from what he just said. Oh my God. Like, that's one reason my mom has stressed that poor woman, but at the same time, like, she has given me opportunity for shit, because I know when I got to uni, right, there was a certain comfortability she had. She said, I know this boy is going to party. But you know what I said about the drug stuff and all that? There's a certain freedom she gave me early, especially when we're in America, that, you know, you could have been doing it. And I remember even the first time I told my mom about, like, the opportunity of even getting into drugs and all that. And then I remember, like, you know how some parents, you can't even tell that. Because people used to be shocked. I used to tell my mom knows my university stories, though. Like, that's why I say, like, he said, parents, be open with your kids. Because my mom knew, I told my mom about the first time I was offered drugs. I told her how I was almost pushed. I told her my house party I was doing. And this woman would just be looking at me. If you like, do it. It's your life. And the thing is, she's saying it so casually because she knows her child. Like, she knows, okay, my limits are this. The thing she worried about even the most was, okay, women. I even passed that stage that at least there's no child. So exactly. Thank God. Like, fair enough. So it's like, parents actually talk to your kids, be open. Do not be afraid about what they say, because you can be changing that. Like, the fact that I had an open relationship with my mom made me actually be aware, like you said, of some decision I can make. Because like I'm not being a rebel, I'm not being this. It's like if she knows already, then what does anybody want to tell me?
Exactly. You know. So yeah.
Good episode.
I mean, I feel like there was still so much more we could actually say on this.
But
if you guys want a part 2, you can let us know you want a part 2. You know, we can definitely continue on this self-discovery journey. But again, wrapping up. Don't forget to subscribe, follow, like
on all socials.
Everywhere. Go to our YouTube, keep watching, binge watch all our episodes, right? And also listen to our podcast on all audio podcast platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, everywhere. Just listen to everything on everywhere. And don't forget to leave comments on our YouTube, on our Instagram. Let us know what you guys think. If you guys have questions, you can also send us emails once again at menismspod@gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram at Menismspod. So
you pretty much said everything, so there's nothing left for me to say.
Yeah, so again, I'm Muriel Gunkoya, and you are?
That's what I was just saying, guys. He has said everything. So even Max, say my name at this point. Let me let him finish. I like
Michael
Sonario. He's already rounded go. Let me see it.
Yeah, so again, I'm Muriel Gunkoya, and this is Michael Sonario. Again, see you next week on another episode of Menisms. I wonder what we're going to talk about next week.
Huh?
I wonder what we're going to talk about next week.
There's open topics for everything. But shout out to everybody that keeps watching the pod. We'll see you guys next time.
All right.